Hey guys, what's going on? This is Deadly, and we're back with some Survivalist episode 12. I do have some pretty unfortunate news though. While I was recording this entire episode, the quality of the video was not set correctly, and it just turned out to be a very grainy experience. So I'm going to do my best to try to sum up all of the tasks that I accomplished because it is a pretty insane episode and we do some very risky things. So this is just a bit of a warning that the quality is definitely not going to be as good as it usually is, and I promise it will be better for next time. So last episode we left off in our camp at our stashes. We just found 2 new barrels. We placed them down. Good news, they are still in position. Everything is good even though I've been away for about a week. All the items that I left in the barrels are there. No holes have been poked in them, and we are heading west. My plan is to finally go to the Northwest Airfield and Mishkino military base to look for crossbow bolts. On the way, we are also going to be looking for animals to hunt. So that is the goal. I'm just being extremely risky here and putting everything out on the line. We already had our entire progress wiped from a server restart. So I'm thinking at this point, what the hell? We have nothing to lose at all. As you guys also seen, I did grow a few pumpkins, and I did that a couple days ago before I aired this episode when I was a little bit under the weather. I'm just going to show you guys some footage of me just doing that right now. Growing pumpkins, I've done it a lot on the channel. It's nothing too crazy. Horticulture is not a difficult thing to do, and pumpkins are by far the best food. I've kind of mentioned that a lot during this series already. We're also using composite arrows, and I have backup with bone arrows just in case we run into any problems with other players. But the goal here is to avoid players and player contact if all possible, to make sure that we don't get into a firefight, because bringing a bow to the gunfight is really not a really good idea. So anyways guys, I did some looting, but then eventually I had to bite the bullet and go into the Northwest Airfield. My plan is to just use speed to quickly run in and quickly run out. I don't need to stay around here for any longer than I need to. I'm not going to be picking up any military fatigues. I'm not going to be picking up any military vests. I'm only going for the crossbow bolts, and that is it. Alright, let's hit this lemonade stand, man. If we get shot at, we're going to be in some tough shape, but we can make it work. Risked it all for nothing. No crossbow bolts. Really unfortunate. Let's start moving out. My plan after this point was to move towards Lapatino, Vybor, and Pushtoshka, and slowly move my way towards Mishkino military base while also looking for animals at the same time. So unfortunately the server restarted, which means that all of our progress looking for animals has technically been reset, because animals can be spawning all over the map again, back at Kershino, at Northwest, at Lapatino, Devil's Castle, Pushtoshka, Vybor, which is a little bit of a shame. However, it does increase our chances at finding crossbow bolts inside a Mishkino military base itself. However, the server is rather full right now, so we're going to have to basically get incredibly lucky to be able to run into the actual base, see if we can find something from the lemonade stands, and then run out. Even if there's players around, we could try to wait for them to pass and leave the base, because the chances of them actually taking the crossbow bolts is going to be pretty much slim to none. Unless there's a fellow survivalist like me inside the camp, we're either going to run into a lot of trouble, or we're going to have to wait it out for them to leave. Looks like we have some people. How many, I don't know. He's got a pistol in his hands. Now that I have eyes on the player, my next move is to make sure we check the plateau, which is directly west of the military base, which I'm looking at right now, and also try to search through the southwestern side for any snipers that might be lurking in the most popular areas, because we're in a very vulnerable position right now. Looks like he's attracting a lot of zombie attention. We could try to make a play on this guy, but one false move and we're dead. Looks like he's got a hell of a lot of zombie aggro on his ass. Did he just get shot? Looks like he might be leaving the base, actually. No, he's not. He's sticking around for a little while. Oh, wow. Okay. Look at that. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. That's actually pretty impressive. He's still fighting off the zombies. He's bleeding like crazy. If there was going to be a time I would strike, it would be now, but I still think that our chances of actually getting a bow kill here are even slim to none. Even with our improvised bow, he seems to be just kind of like on his jolly way, and he's gonna bandage right now. If I had a sniper rifle, this shit would be pretty easy. I'm really holding back a lot of restraint here by just not going down there and fucking him up with the bow, but again, by the time I get down there, full sway, I'm gonna be shaky like crazy. I just don't. Looks like he's got like a Winchester on his back or something. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go down there. For better or for worse. I don't really want to make a play on the guy. It's not really my intention. My intention is to simply see if he would be approachable to even have a discussion. I feel like if he was to see us, he would consider us hostile. I mean, we're at a military base. There he is right there. Here I pick up some composite arrows, thinking they're crossbow bolts, so I switch over to the crossbow, but then I realize after that, damn, I made a little bit of a mistake, so if you rush me now, it would be pretty bad timing. He's back at the porta potties right now. Looks like he's running for some reason. I think it's time for us to do our thing. After the survivor ran out to the western hill, I figured he was going to a sniping location to do some overwatch with that Winchester on his back, so I only had a few seconds to get around, loot the lemonade stands, and then get the hell out of the base. Unfortunately, we did not find any crossbow bolts, but we were successfully able to get into Mishkino base, which is a really good sign. It means that we can do it again sometime and try to get some crossbow bolts another time. But unfortunately, we just didn't get lucky this time and never found a single bolt. We did find some more composite arrows, but that's pretty much it. I'm not looting any other military building because I don't want to wear an assault vest or a high cap or any sort of military equipment. That's just not what this series is about. And also, this series isn't a PvP series, so going after players, and risking this character's life for pretty much nothing is not worth it. So just keep that in mind. Nothing that guy had I could probably use. I don't think this dude's gonna have leather strips on him or anything like that. So leaving him alone and not pursuing him is the safest option here, and that's exactly what we do. On my way towards Green Mountain, we found a herd of deer that was just rushing through the woods. Somebody disturbed it up here to my left, so I decided to go on and chase it. My hope was one of the deer would get stuck on one of the fences or the rocks, but there's no way I'm going to be able to line up an arrow shot with those deer flying through the woods at like 100 miles per hour. But I didn't need to worry. A large majority of the deer got stuck on these wooden fences, 4 to be exact. So I tested out the composite arrows to see what kind of damage they do, and surprisingly, pretty much the same as the bone arrows. 2 bone arrows take down an animal like a deer or a cow, and 2 composite arrows takes down a deer. So I didn't really want to waste too many arrows. Since they were all stuck, I decided to skin as many deer as I possibly could, and I was able to get 4 pelts. I dropped a lot of my supplies to make sure that I could carry as many pelts as possible, and then immediately start to migrate back to the base. I didn't take any of the deer meat because I don't have a big enough backpack, and at this point, finding pelts, especially in the Far East, is very difficult to do. So I just wanted to maximize on this opportunity since we found this deer herd that we set out to find, and then go back to our camp and start tanning some leathers. Now, just like the rabbit skins, you take garden lime and you put it into the barrel, you close the lid, and then you right click the barrel one more time, and then you click tan pelts. It takes a few minutes, but once it's done, we have a lot of pelts ready to go. So we were actually only able to tan 3 of the pelts, but it was enough. We got, I think, 18 pieces of leather from that haul just from 3 pelts, and we still have more to go. So we're not completely finished with the deer pelt. We still have 1 left. So I'm gonna have to go find another bag of garden lime, but that's gonna have to wait till next episode. Now it's time for the fun stuff. Let's craft a lot of leather stuff so we can actually catch up to where we were before our server was wiped. So I'm going to be using the pristine leather sewing kit, and first we're going to be making the leather storage vest. I think it is the most valuable leather piece of kit that you can get because it is a 10 slot vest. Second to that is I think it's time to upgrade our backpack. I'm not going to be going for the hunting backpack, so it's time to make the leather sack. So it is a 24 slot pack, so it is just slightly worse than the boar backpack, but it's still not as big. They actually lowered the profile on the leather sack pretty extensively. It is not as big as it used to be when they first introduced it into the game. So that's going to be a nice little upgrade, and I'll take that burlap strip and put it into my inventory and save it for whenever we try to make a ghillie suit. Next, we're going to be making the next obvious choices, a jacket and also some pants. So the jacket is, I believe it is just a typical 5 slot jacket, but let me see here. Yeah, it is a 4 slot jacket. And then the pants are also a 2 slot pants. So that's why the leather vest has so much carry capacity, is because it makes up for what you lose with the jacket and the pants. Because those Spring Hunter pants are pretty nice, but one of the goals for this series is to have a full leather set. Now it's time to tan our leather clothing. So I put the backpack inside the barrel, and you have to empty the box of nails first. So that's something I actually didn't know. So you open the lid, empty the box of nails, throw it into the barrel, close the lid, and it immediately tans the item, so you don't have to wait any time at all. And it really does look nice. I'm a huge fan of the way this leather backpack turned out and the rest of my gear. So it's just rinse and repeat. I just emptied all of my clothing items, put all the items into our tanning barrel, and eventually we came out with a tanned leather vest, jacket, and pants. And there's obviously going to be moccasins and a few other pieces of equipment. So I honestly don't think we're going to need to get a whole lot more leather strips. The only reason why we're going to be getting additional leather strips is probably from tanning rabbits or finding animals along the way in our travels in the future while we're looking for items for our eventual ghillie suit, which should be pretty awesome. So that's going to be wrapping it up for this episode. I really hope you guys didn't mind the quality loss. I promise it won't happen again. We just accomplished way too many things in this episode for me to not share this with you guys. A near PvP encounter at Mosquito Military Base and the Northwest Airfield, finding a lot of deer, skinning them, collecting their pelts, bringing it back to our stash, tanning all of those pelts, and crafting a jacket, pants, backpack, and vest. Such a crazy episode. It would have been a damn shame for me to just start off episode 12 with a full leather kit and without really explaining how I collected it. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's below the video. You guys can also check out my daily live streams every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. A link to that is in the description box below. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you soon.